Hey, before you decided to work with us, how long had you been in your career search already? I don't remember if you had just started or if it had been a while.
I had just started.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So for me, I knew just kind of being at that executive level, it
Hmm.
was going to be a bit of a long haul. Honestly, I was anticipating 6 months to a year,
Hmm.
to find the right one. I think I was pleasantly surprised. A couple of things. One was the job market was more robust than I thought.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, that's why I came on with y'all. I think I saw a Facebook video with Kara.
Hmm.
And then I continued to research and saw a couple with
Hmm.
you as well. So those
Hmm.
Facebook placements are paying off.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, we
least for
advertise.
my demographic.
Yeah, I do. We have just a couple questions, but the next one was, at what point do you need help? But you were basically saying, hey, it's pretty hard to get these roles at these executive levels, and you know, applying online doesn't really work, sometimes. And if you saw what I shared just in Slack of that software developer who created a program to apply for almost 2,000 jobs in 90 days, and basically he says, man, I built this program for nothing because it didn't help me. He said people get jobs through networking and collaboration. So how did it finally happen for you? Was it the automated system? Was it a networking conversation that led to this? Because this was a role, it wasn't posted. No one really knew about it. You wouldn't have known unless you got connected with those people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this one it was through my existing contact.
Hmm.
And it literally was 7 degrees from Kevin Bacon or whatever, but it was 3 degrees out.
Yeah.
And they just happened to be restructuring, right?
Hmm.
And so she and I talked. I mean, it was what, 2 months, 2.5 months
Hmm.
interview process.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Well, if you're bringing on a VP of a new global program, I mean, that's
yeah,
significant, right? There's a lot of people that are going to want to talk to you.
yeah, and so for me, honestly, that helped a lot. Just getting organized on the spreadsheet.
And I do know, while working together too, there was an offer that we actually turned down because we couldn't, negotiate it up to where it needed to be because it was just a smaller organization. So, hey,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to be prepared. But I remember that the good news is you didn't get discouraged over that. You were like, hey, I have these opportunities. So it didn't work out there, but I'm going to push forward, because we always
Yeah,
talk about, of course, everyone says you got to be positive, but hey, it's hard to be positive when you don't have other opportunities in the pipeline.
sure.
And
Well, and for me, because I'm actually pretty analytical, I would continue to look at my numbers, right? All right. So
yeah.
if my octopus is hitting 30% acceptance rate, I'm
Hmm.
okay. And if I'm hitting a certain percentage of connections and I'm getting a certain percentage of networking calls,
Hmm.
I'm okay. Now,
Yeah.
yeah,
I always break that down on the coaching calls in Microsoft Paint. And I say, hey, how do you get more offers? You got to get on more interviews. How do you
right.
get on more interviews? You got to talk to more people. How do you talk to more people? Well, you got to do, use our
Yeah.
automated system, which helps out a lot. But I do know sometimes even people in our program, sometimes they've been looking for 9 months and someone in their network has an opportunity for them, but they've never asked them. Those are
That
some
was
of the most frustrating ones. It's like, this was my friend and I didn't even, think about that. So what did you find most valuable working together? I do know the salary negotiation helped out a little bit because I know
yeah.
you were kind of uneasy, but hey, was it the group calls? Was it the interview prep? Was it, what was it for you if it was just
Yeah.
one thing?
Oh gosh. I think it was probably the scripting,
Yeah.
right? And nailing it down to
Yeah.
very succinct points.
Hmm.
I will say a couple of things again, because I'm marketing, right? So the first thing that I wanted, honestly, when I came on, what I really wanted was get my resume, LinkedIn, and getting
Optimized.
able to get through the
Hmm.
what is it? Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think it was just that scripting, and the group calls were fantastic because I always picked up a little
Hmm.
nugget here or
From
there.
other people. Yeah.
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 So
I think it's, a lot of people say, hey, I tried to get a hold of decision makers on LinkedIn. It just hasn't worked. And from a marketing person, the first thing you say is, what's your profile look like?
Right.
What are you specifically saying to these people? What are you doing to generate these calls? Then what are you saying to them? So it's no different than a marketing campaign. Hey, if you're not targeting the right audience, if the landing page, if you will, isn't optimized, well, it's not going to convert, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I think that, and honestly, the automation, I will swear by that automation. It just made it so much easier. And then, like I said, honestly, I was trying to break into healthcare. I have more healthcare contacts now because I was able to capture like 3 or 4 key CEOs. And so maybe that's part of that automation is start higher, or at least a couple levels above where you want to be. And I mean, I've had people email or reach out to me and say, "Are you in healthcare? Do you have healthcare experience?" And I'm like,
and then what are you going to say, right? A lot of people, if they don't know, they're going to say, "No, I don't." And then they're like, "Well, we're not going to talk to you." Right? I know we had that domain conversation that everyone's going to get. Well, you come from this background. We do this, but we've talked a lot about how, hey, marketing is these things, right?
Yeah.
So what I know it all worked out for you. What advice would you have for someone who's considering working with us, right? And maybe they've been unemployed for a while, or maybe just like you, they were just starting their search and they said, you know what? I'm not sure if I need help or not. So what advice would you have for someone if, you were contacted and they said, hey, what advice would you have for them?
I would say make as many connections as you can. And practice.